All right, we're going to be reading from this book here called The 13 Gates of the Necronomicon by Donald Tyson. And the 13 gates are the 13 zodiac signs, as we talked about in previous lessons, remember? All right, so go ahead and start on this page here, son, with this quote from H.P. Lovecraft. Go ahead.
For he who passes the gateways always wins a shadow, and never again can he be alone. H.P. Lovecraft, the book.
Right, that's a quote from Lovecraft, and go ahead and read this section here.
The unique mythology created by the American writer of horror fiction, Howard Phillips Lovecraft, 1890 to 1937, will in this work be referred to as the Necronomicon mythos.
Right. And a mythos is a mythology, right?
Right.
And mythology is a spiritual language. Mythology is a symbolic representation of things which can be used as a spiritual vehicle that can take you places. Mythology is a conglomeration of symbolic stories that represent aspects of truth which you can use to discover within yourself. So it's like fiction that represents something that's true. I've even heard people say mythology is some of the most realist stuff because it represents truth. It's symbolic. So we're going to get further into this so that you can unlock this vital knowledge to unlock vital parts of yourself. Because I believe that this mythology, which came from Lovecraft, is actually a tool that you can use to connect with these energies, which are facets of your subconscious mind. Lovecraft received visions and dreams from the collective consciousness, which is within your reality. Because Lovecraft is really a part of your dream. All of this is your dream. You understand that?
Yeah.
This whole reality, it's all just a light illusion that your soul is experiencing. All right, so go ahead and continue reading at this part right here.
Lovecraft intertwined 4 thematic threads in his stories, only one of which directly concerns Cthulhu. However, the Necronomicon book touches upon all 4 of them. These threads cannot be easily separated since they cross over at various points like a woven fabric, but they can be distinguished.
Right, so real quick, to basically explain what the Necronomicon is, to give a brief definition of it. The Necronomicon is not any official text or particular book.
Yeah.
There's no text or book that is officially the Necronomicon. It's not a book in the way that we typically think of a book. Like, for example, the Bible is a specific text, or the Quran is a specific text. The Necronomicon is not a specific text. It's actually known as a fictional grimoire which came from Lovecraft stories, you know? And some say the Necronomicon is the Cthulhu mythos, that it is Lovecraft's mythology. You know, I've even heard people say the real Necronomicon is the story, The Call of Cthulhu. But here's what you need to understand. Just because it's based here on fictional stories does not mean that it's not real. It is real, right? Fictional stories can contain real spiritual energy. Right? So the Necronomicon is a real thing. It's a frequency that can be tapped into, right?
Right.
It's not one specific book that you would physically pick up with your hands and read. However, there are many published books out there that bear the name Necronomicon, which can be purchased at bookstores or ordered online. And these are like physical published books. To name a few of the most popular ones, there's the Simon Necronomicon, the John D. Necronomicon, the Donald Tyson Necronomicon, the Geiger Necronomicon, and there's a few others. There's many of them, actually. And we're going to be reading from a couple of them in the next coming lessons. And all of these published books that bear the name are also themselves Necronomicon. Right? Anyone can actually write their own Necronomicon book. We can write our own Necronomicon book. In fact, anything that is about the dark, hidden, scary, gloomy, unknown things that are unseen of the subconscious mind or hidden within the depths of the universe can be considered Necronomicon. Right? So what you need to understand is that the Necronomicon is really about you. It's about your subconscious mind. All right, so continue reading right here.
One thread of each Cthulhu is a part concerns alien races from distant star systems or other dimensions of space and time that contested with each other for the rule of the primordial earth long before the evolution of mankind. They still wait in secret places for the stars to come right in the heavens so that they can emerge and displace us as masters of this world. These beings are not evil. They are merely aloof from the concerns of humanity. They regard us as we might regard a species of bacteria.
Right. So as you just read there, it's concerning these alien races from distant star systems. That's what this mythology is about. These beings are not evil, but they are aloof from the concerns of humanity. Right. So it's talking about the primordial beings, also known as the great old ones. Right. That's what Lovecraft stories are about. Cthulhu is probably the most popular being of the so-called Necronomicon mythos. And then there are other ones such as Azathoth, Yog-Sothoth, Nyarlathotep, Dagon, Shub-Niggurath, which actually I have pictures of them on the wall here in the garage, which you can see up here. Remember in Lesson 51 when we were reading the Gospel of Thomas, where it talks about the dark primordial beings, which predate this material world, which are older than light form itself? That's what this is about. The primordial ones who are older than the Abrahamic God that said, "Let there be light." Right? The primordial beings, they're the old ones. They were around long before physical form and light creation, right?
Right.
Right. So these fictional stories that H.P. Lovecraft wrote are really about your primordial self. Because these beings are the beings of the darkness. They're the beings of the initial chaotic universe. It's a representation of different aspects of your own soul. That's what it's about. Your soul is native to the chaotic dark universe. Right?
Right.
Right. So, yeah, these stories are about your inner dark self. Remember in lessons 5 through 12 when we learned from the Apocryphon of John that your soul is actually older than the Abrahamic God. That's in the Apocryphon of John. Right? Your own soul predates the Abrahamic God, who is the demiurge who created this world. Remember what Jesus told us in the Apocryphon of John? We read about this in lessons 5 through 12. Jesus explains why this God says in the Bible, "I am a jealous God," because the biblical God, who is the demiurge, is actually jealous of you because your soul is older than he is. And we also learned that the biblical God, the demiurge, is the creator of this fake illusionary world. That's in the Apocryphon of John. Jesus explains all of these things. So what you need to know is that your soul is actually at home in the primordial dark matter, which is what there was in the beginning of all things. Right? Your soul is much older than this physical light universe here. Right? You are not this human form. This human form is an illusion. You are actually the dark matter experiencing itself in this physical light body right now. Anything of 3D material form is a light illusion. That's what you need to know. This world that the Abrahamic demiurge created is not real. Right? We learned that in lesson 1. Right? So to wrap this up, Lovecraft's mythology is really about the most truest and real thing, which is the darkness, which is the primordial chaos that predates this human light illusion, this 3D material world, which is your primordial self, which is your soul, which is your true identity. Right? These beings of the darkness that Lovecraft writes about are like fictional representations of your true inner deep subconscious mind that is the gateway to your soul. And I'm going to show you how to prove this to yourself, right, through astral traveling, which you remember you recently told me that you've had some success astral traveling, remember? You said the other night you were able to actually somewhat leave the body, which is different than a dream, which is not, we're not talking about dreaming here. We're talking about actually exploring the universe, which is yourself. Which is you're going to go deep into your subconscious self, which is actually the universe. It's going to be fun. We're going to get into this. All right, so that's all for now. With the next lesson, we'll get into more of the mythology written by Lovecraft about the Necronomicon. All right, thanks for checking us out, you guys. We love you.
Peace.
Peace.